a world of fascinating and mind-bending facts that will not only amaze you, but also expand the balance of knowledge in your mind. These aren't just your everyday facts. They're the kind that challenge what you think you know and leave you wanting more. So, buckle up and prepare to be blown away as we take you on a journey through some of the most intriguing and mysterious corners of knowledge. Fact number 12. You've probably heard the term supermoon on TV or in the news, where they say that tonight the moon isn't just normal, it's a supermoon. But what exactly does that mean? Let's break it down. The moon sometimes appears small, and sometimes it's full and bright. This happens because of new moon and full moon phases, which are common lunar cycles. Some people think a supermoon happens on every full moon, but that's not the case. Here's the science. The moon orbits Earth in an elliptical path, not a perfect circle. That means sometimes the moon is closer to Earth and sometimes it's farther away. A supermoon occurs when this close position coincides with a full moon. This combination is rare and special. During a supermoon, the moon appears 14% larger than usual. Its brightness increases by 30%. So, a supermoon isn't just a full moon. It's a full moon that happens when the moon is closest to Earth in its elliptical orbit, making it look brighter and bigger than usual. Fascinating, isn't it? Fact number 11. In the year 1936, something happened that you might find hard to believe. During the Berlin Summer Olympics, Adolf Hitler was seated, signing autographs for people. Amidst this, a middle-aged woman approached him. She took his autograph, but then unexpectedly grabbed his face and kissed him. At the moment, Hitler didn't react aggressively. He simply smiled and continued with the event. However, internally, he was reportedly furious. Once the event was over, Hitler took drastic action. He fired over 70 members of his security team, blaming them for allowing such an incident to happen. Hitler took to maintain his authority and image. Considering his reputation, this unexpected event certainly didn't fit his idea of how the most powerful man should be treated. Fact number 10. In the year 2015, the Australian city of Nano became one of the most alcohol-addicted places in the world. The consumption there had increased so much that the government decided something big had to be done. A new system was introduced where random alcohol breath tests would be conducted on all vehicles passing by. The alcohol problem was so severe that a system was put in place where random drivers in cars would be tested. And if it was found that they hadn't consumed alcohol, their name would be written in a lucky draw. Out of all the names in that draw, one person would win $1,000 every day. After this, an impact was observed, and people started drinking less. Fact number 9. If you place your hand under normal light, a shadow of your hand will form. However, in the areas where doctors perform surgeries, if a shadow were to appear, it would create a problem. Light is, of course, essential, but during surgery, the shadow caused by the hands would disturb the doctors. Surprisingly, this doesn't happen. Amazingly, when you place your hand under surgical lights, no shadow forms at all. Surgical lights consist of multiple lights arranged in such a way that they cancel out each other's shadows. Their arrangement is uniquely designed. That's incredible. Fact number 8. Did you know there's a fascinating word scientists have coined which both exists and doesn't exist at the same time? Let's break it down. The Earth revolves around the sun, revolves around the Earth. So who or what revolves around the moon? Here's where it gets interesting. If a moon-like body were to have its own satellite, it would be called a moon-moon. Yes, you heard that right, a moon-moon. This term applies to any moon in the solar system that might acquire its own smaller moon. Whether it's Earth's moon, Mars' Phobos and Deimos, Saturn's countless moons, or Jupiter's many satellites, if any of them had their own moon, it would qualify as a moon-moon. The amazing twist? No moon-moon has been discovered in our solar system. Not one. However, in the vast expanse of the universe, it's entirely possible that a moon of a moon exists somewhere out there. While the term moon-moon remains unused in our solar system, its possibility beyond is an exciting thought that captures the imagination. Fact number 7. Did you know that there's no permanent cure for the common cold? Many of you might wonder why. Let me break it down. The common cold is caused by viruses, not bacteria. When bacteria attack your body, they stay outside your cells, causing trouble. Antibiotics can kill these bacteria without harming your cells, and you recover. But viruses, they are much smarter and trickier. Instead of lingering outside, they invade your cells and use the cell's energy to multiply, essentially hiding within them. Now, here's the catch. If medicine were to target the virus, it would also destroy the infected cell. This makes finding a cure for viruses incredibly challenging. Scientists have yet to develop technology that can remove viruses from inside cells without harming the cells themselves. Take HIV, for instance. It doesn't just hide inside cells, it integrates itself into your genetic material, your DNA. Once embedded, it becomes nearly impossible to detect, making HIV one of the most dangerous viruses. While treatments exist to manage it and prolong life, there's still no cure that can completely eradicate it. As for the common cold, it gets even trickier. The viruses causing it mutate constantly. By the time medicine targets one version, a new version, like 2.0 or 3.0, emerges. So what's the solution? Your immune system. It's the ultimate defense, recognizing the infected cells and eliminating the virus from within. Medicines can help alleviate symptoms and slow down the virus's spread, but the real hero is a strong immune system. That's why staying healthy and boosting your immunity is the best defense against these tiny invaders. If you found this explanation fascinating, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss updates. Fact number 6. This is a deep and mysterious fact. There's a condition called nobility, and it affects those who have won the Nobel Prize. At first, this might seem strange to you. After all, the Nobel Prize is awarded to the most intelligent minds, so how could such a condition affect them? But it's true. Throughout history, around 992 individuals have received the Nobel Prize, and among them, about 10 to 20 have developed a unique mental condition where they start seeing themselves as the main character of the world. They begin to believe that no one is more intelligent than them. This mindset leads them to make statements that sound like they're coming from a mental patient. For instance, chemist Kary Mullis, who won the Nobel Prize in chemistry, used to say that a raccoon, a common animal in the Americas, frequently kidnapped him. Some Nobel Prize winners have claimed that aliens visit them to take their knowledge. Such bizarre claims stem from a state where an individual, overwhelmed by their achievements and success, starts to lose touch with reality. This condition, where people begin to behave irrationally or make absurd claims due to an inflated sense of self, is referred to as nobility. Fact number 5. There is an official list of the longest living people, meaning a verified list of individuals whose lifespans have been confirmed by the government. For example, people who have actually lived to be 130 or 120 years old. However, if you look at the top 50 on this list, you'll notice there are no men, only women. Now, why is that? It may sound strange, but biologically speaking, the hormones in females tend to support their cardiovascular health, meaning their heart health. On the other hand, men have a different hormonal setup that may not offer the same protection. Another reason for this could be found in history. Men were the ones fighting wars, and in those times, the world wasn't as organized. Wars were fought almost every other day, and that could have contributed to the shorter lifespans of men. This doesn't mean I'm saying that women are better or anything like that, or that men are less capable. I just want you to understand this interesting fact. Fact number 4. Here's an amazing fact for you. Imagine if one day we both went to the moon. When you get there, you'd notice a lot of incredible things, and most of them might not surprise you. After all, you're standing on the moon, right? But there's one thing that will surely shock you. First, let me tell you that the entire sky will look pitch black, completely dark. You'll finally understand what a true black night is, because on Earth, when you go outside at night, you see stars in the sky. But on the moon, there's no atmosphere, no air. You're standing on the surface, and right from there, space begins, and it's pure, pitch black space. Now, another fascinating thing. We always see the moon from Earth, and it looks huge when it's full, right? But if you were standing on the moon and looked up at Earth, you'd be shocked to see Earth appearing 13 times bigger than the moon looks from here. Yes, 13 times bigger. It's not just a fantasy as shown in movies where the moon looks enormous. If you're on the moon, Earth will look huge in the sky. And here's a math twist. The diameter of Earth is 4 times bigger than the moon's. So naturally, Earth should look 4 times bigger from the moon, right? But it looks 13 times bigger. This is because when the diameter of a sphere increases, its surface area increases much more rapidly. If you're into math, you can see the full calculation on your screen. But there's a catch when it comes to photographs. If you've ever seen a photo of Earth from the moon, it might look small, right? That's because the camera's focal length can make things look much smaller. It's like when you look at the moon with your naked eye at night, and it seems big, but when you take a picture with your phone, it looks tiny and lacks detail. So, although the Earth appears huge to your eyes, the photo won't capture it as you see it with your own eyes. Fact number 3. Here's an interesting question. What would happen if you gave a snake its own venom? Would it survive or die? The venom that snakes produce is toxic, but it's designed to affect their prey, not themselves. So if you extracted the venom from a snake and then gave it back to the snake by placing it in its own mouth, it wouldn't harm the snake. It would be fine because its body is already accustomed to handling its own venom. Now, let's take it a step further. What if you loaded the snake's venom into a syringe and injected it into its bloodstream? The answer is still no. It wouldn't harm the snake. The venom is harmful when injected into the bloodstream of another animal, but not when it enters a snake's body because it's built to handle it. However, here's the twist. If you take venom from one species of snake and inject it into another species, it could potentially kill the second snake. That's because different species of snakes have different immune systems, and venom that is harmless to one species can be lethal to another. So, a venom from one snake could be fatal if injected into a snake of a different species. Fact number 2. This is a dark and tragic fact about boxing that you might not know. Boxing matches around the world are now fought over 12 rounds, but it wasn't always this way. Matches used to have 15 rounds, and the reason for the change is tied to a tragic incident. The story involves 2 boxers, Ray Mancini and Kim Duk-koo. They had a match, and when the fight ended, it became clear that Kim Duk-koo had suffered severe injuries. Unfortunately, he passed away from these injuries. After this tragic loss, Ray Mancini, who was the opponent in the match, quit boxing. However, the darkness of this event didn't end there. Kim Duk-koo's mother, devastated by the loss of her son, took her own life by ingesting pesticides. And it didn't stop there. The referee who had officiated the match also took his own life. This match became known as one of the darkest in boxing history, and it led to a major rule change in the sport. The decision was made to reduce the number of rounds from 15 to 12 to minimize the risk of such catastrophic injuries. This heartbreaking incident shed light on the dangers of the sport, and it was a wake-up call for everyone involved. It's a tragic reminder of how high the stakes can be in boxing. Fact number 1. Here's an amazing concept about space. Did you know that there's no air in space? But what if we inflate a balloon, seal it, and then release the air in space? Technically, the air would go into the emptiness of space. So, what happens? The answer is yes. If you do this, you've technically just added Earth's air to space, and that air molecule would exist in space forever. As soon as you release it, it would start spreading. There wouldn't be any noticeable effect. It's not like the entire space will turn into a garden, but yes, the air you take from Earth would continue to travel around space permanently, and it would always be there in space. So, these were today's interesting facts. Drop a comment and let me know how you found this video. Don't forget to subscribe and keep the all option always on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh my god, you'll definitely say this because in this video, you'll learn so many amazing facts that you won't be able to believe, no matter how hard you try. I am the Useless Guy, and I welcome you to the world of amazing facts on The Useless Show. Fact number 11. Age-restricted videos on YouTube are designed to ensure that only viewers aged 18 and above can access content deemed unsuitable for younger audiences. You already know about age-restricted videos. So, have you heard about age-restricted games? Have you heard about age-restricted websites? Go on, you must have also heard about age-restricted places. But have you ever seen an entire city like that? An entire city that is age-restricted where no one below the age of 18 can enter? So, this might sound weird to you, but this imagination was actually made real. In America's Arizona, there is a place called Youngtown, and it was age-restricted in 1954. A very big age restriction was imposed that no person below the age of 50 could enter. It was officially made a law there that no one below the age of 50 could legally buy land or live there. This was done in 1954. Then, almost 50 years later, in 1999, they realized and opened this age restriction, and that's why now, in Arizona, America, there is no such restriction anymore. Fact number 10. You must have seen chicken farms, maybe even goose farms, and farms for various other animals. But did you know that in China, there are almost 12 times more cockroach farms than chicken farms? This might sound unusual, but let me explain. China is far ahead in medicine production compared to many countries. You might have heard that many medicines use proteins derived from animals, such as cockroaches. The biological liquids inside cockroaches are used in various medicines. This is why there are farms in China where you will find not just thousands, but millions of cockroaches. Cockroaches, which we often take lightly, actually hold significant value. For instance, there is a species called rhino roach, scientifically named Macropenesthia rhinoceros. It is the world's most expensive cockroach, and not just expensive for fun. Each individual cockroach of this species costs around $1,500. Now imagine, if a cockroach farm in China has even 1,000 such cockroaches, and each cockroach is worth $1,000, it turns into $1 million business just like that. Fact number 9. The region we now know as modern Italy. That place was once known as Akragas. Let me tell you a very interesting story from that time. There was a king named Phalaris. From the name itself, he sounds like a villain, and true to his name, he was infamous for his cruelty. He was obsessed with maintaining discipline and control over his people, often through fear. To achieve this, he wanted to create a punishment so horrifying that it would terrify anyone who dared to commit a crime. Enter one of his sycophants, a man named Paralyus. Like many such courtiers, Paralyus had no regard for the common people and was only interested in impressing the king. One day, Paralyus came to the king with an idea, a torture device called the Brazen Bull. Now, here's how the Brazen Bull worked. It was a large metal structure shaped like a bull, hollow from the inside. The idea was to place a person inside, light a fire beneath the bull, and heat it until the person inside was burned alive. As they screamed in agony, the sound would echo through the structure, making it seem like the bull was roaring. Horrific, right? King Phalaris loved the idea, and the device was built. But here's where it gets interesting. When the Brazen Bull was finally ready, the king told Paralyus, "Show me how it works. Demonstrate it for me." Paralyus, eager to please, climbed inside the bull to explain how the device would operate. But as soon as he got inside, the cruel king locked him inside and ordered the fire to be lit beneath the bull. He wanted to ensure the device worked perfectly. And thus, the very first victim of the Brazen Bull was none other than its inventor, Paralyus himself. This chilling tale is a real historical account and serves as a grim reminder of how cruelty can often backfire in the most unexpected ways. Fact number 8. Since childhood, we've been told that if you see a lizard or a cockroach at home, it's not a big deal. They aren't dangerous to humans. But if you spot a scorpion, it's a different story altogether. You're immediately warned to tell everyone because the sting of certain dangerous scorpion species can even be fatal. Now here's a curious question. If scorpions are so dangerous, how is it that in many places around the world, like China, California, Arizona, and Mexico, people actually catch and eat scorpions? They're even considered a famous dish in some regions. How is that possible? Well, here's the science behind it. The venom inside a scorpion is essentially a set of proteins and chemicals. When the scorpion is heated or cooked, the proteins in its venom break down and the chemical structure of the venom changes. In simple terms, the venom is neutralized by the cooking process. Chefs who prepare dishes like fried scorpions know exactly how to cook them safely. That's why, although raw venom could harm or kill you, when carefully prepared and cooked, scorpions are no longer dangerous and are even considered a delicacy in some cuisines. So, next time you hear about people eating scorpions, remember it's all about proper preparation and cooking techniques. If you're still glued to this video, then take a moment and move that thumb, hit the subscribe button, and make sure to set notifications to all so you never miss out on fascinating facts like this every week. Fact number 7. This is an ultra deep fact, and you'll need to listen carefully. There's a theory that when a person is dying, for instance, imagine someone whose eyes are closing, their brain slowing down, time might feel incredibly slow to them. You might think, okay, so time feels slow. What's the big deal? But hear this out. It's about perception. Here's the deep part. It's possible that to a dying person, time stretches so much that they feel trapped in the same moment for what seems like years. Think about this. Their brain is managing their sense of time through chemical processes. If those brain chemicals are altered, like with a drug that slows your perception, you could feel like an entire year has passed, while, in reality, it's just been 5 minutes. This theory suggests that the perception of time could become so slow during death that the person might relive moments of their life as if they were in a loop or see a summary of all the events in their life. For the people around them, this might be just a few minutes as they try to revive the person, but for the dying individual, it could feel like months or even years. It's strange and hard to grasp, but it's all a game of the mind. If brain chemicals are manipulated, perception itself changes. That's why people under the influence of certain substances often experience hallucinations or altered realities. They see things that aren't real. This shows that any experience can be created using neurochemicals. But here's the thing. We can't confirm what actually happens during this slow perception of time at death because, well, no one comes back to describe the experience after fully dying. Even near-death experiences, where people are revived, don't provide a full picture because the person didn't actually die. According to some, this slowed perception and the sense of time stretching might only occur when the soul leaves the body. It's a deeply thought-provoking idea and definitely worth reflecting on, even if it remains a mystery. Fact number 6. Astronauts go to the space station. They float and live there. But what do they actually do there? Now, the satellites orbiting the Earth are doing their job, set by computers. So why do people need to go there? When everything is computerized nowadays, what is the point of people staying there? And suppose 5 or 6 people go, is there any actual benefit? I mean, does the cost justify the benefits? So here's the answer. Yes. First of all, scientific experiments are conducted there. Yes, you might have expected this answer, that they go there to perform experiments. But what kind of experiments? They study living in zero gravity, eating, and how it affects the human bones. Plus, how much radiation damages the cells above. These are the things they investigate. That means astronauts conduct dark experiments on themselves. But why is this necessary? The thing is, humanity's future might be on Mars or somewhere else. So, if we travel in a spaceship to Mars, it will take time to reach there, right? Several years. Can humans survive for so many days, or will they shrink completely, turning into just bones? We need to find all this out. That's why they go. So first, I explained scientific experiments. Second is maintenance. Look, the space station, as you might have guessed, has very complex parts. And yes, it's automated and computerized 90%. But the remaining 10% of things are manual, and those are the ones that need tweaking. Space stations still require humans. Fact number 5. You must have heard about the FBI in America, considered one of the world's most intelligent investigative agencies. Its agents are spread across the globe, investigating anti-national activities, and uncovering conspiracies. There was an FBI agent named Robert Hansen who was given a mission to find out if someone within the FBI was leaking information to enemies. Robert reviewed all the files to identify who among their team could be betraying them. After 2 or 3 months of investigation, it was revealed that the person assigned this mission, Robert himself, was the traitor. Yes, Robert Hansen, who was trusted to catch the spy, turned out to be the mole. He was actually an agent of Russia's KGB. You're probably aware of the tension between America and Russia. Imagine this, a Russian agent working inside the FBI. The shocking part? The traitor was handed all the files and resources to catch himself. Hansen was finally caught in 2001, but he had been spying since 1979, 22 years. This incident is considered America's worst intelligence disaster. Few people know about this real-life event, which sounds straight out of a movie. If anything could ever truly mirror a spy thriller film, it would be this story involving intelligence agencies. Fact number 4. Many people think that during an eye transplant, the entire eye is replaced, like swapping out a light bulb. The phrase eye donation, the greatest gift, paints a picture in your mind of the eye as a spare part that can be removed from a deceased person and implanted into a patient. But the story doesn't unfold like this. What actually happens is that only the outer part, the cornea, is replaced. This small transparent layer is the part that finds a new home. The rest of the eye is untouched. Why is that? Behind the scenes, there are over 1 million tiny cables, nerves that connect your eye to your brain. Removing an entire eye and transplanting it into another person might sound like a fascinating idea in the medical field, but the reality is, it's just a dream, one that eye doctors hope for at night. A full eye transplant is currently impossible. In the future, it might become a reality. Think of your eye as a tree with deep roots. You can't just uproot that tree and place it in another soil without consequences. Technically, you might be able to transfer the tree with machines, but it wouldn't revive in the new soil. Similarly, transplanting a whole eye wouldn't bring it back to life. The hope lies in nanorobots. They could take this dream of full eye transplants from the pages of science fiction to reality. Nanorobots might create a future where every eye hospital has a special chair plugged into advanced tech. Patients could sit there, get their new light bulb fixed, one that would illuminate their lives anew. Fact number 3, déjà vu. This term you've probably heard at least 1.2 million times. Déjà vu is that eerie feeling where you sense that something has already happened to you. But did you know that déjà vu has a hidden twin brother? A twin whose name was given by psychology, jamais vu. While déjà vu makes you feel like you've experienced something before, jamais vu is the exact opposite. It's when something familiar suddenly feels completely unfamiliar. To experience jamais vu, try this. Go to your mom or sister and look at their face carefully. Tell your mom, wait a minute, let me just look at you. Keep staring for about 15-17 seconds. After a while, you might feel, wait, is this really my mom? It's a weird sensation, but it happens. Jamais vu is when something you're completely familiar with feels strange or alien. Psychology defines this phenomenon. And just like déjà vu, jamais vu has earned its place in many psychological studies and books. The human brain is truly a jungle, calm on the surface, but holding countless mysteries within. Déjà vu, jamais vu, precognitive dreams, continuous dreams, visions of the future. There's just so much to explore. Fact number 2. This is a fact about people who don't eat non-vegetarian food. If you have a relative or friend who doesn't eat meat, and you bring non-veggie food close to them or near their face, they may get angry or upset. But here's an interesting fact. About 70% of all allopathic medicines in the world contain something derived from animals, even if someone avoids non-veg in their diet. When it comes to medicines or medical emergencies, unfortunately, everyone ends up consuming non-veg indirectly. For example, heparin, used to thin blood for heart diseases, is made from pig tissues. Premarin, used during menopause in women, is derived from a substance found in the urine of pregnant horses. The flu vaccine involves the use of kidney cells from monkeys. Medicines used to treat thyroid disorders are extracted from the thyroid glands of pigs. For emergencies like snake bites, scorpion stings, or other venomous attacks, the antivenom is created using proteins derived from the blood of horses and sheep. Unfortunately, there are no plant-based alternatives for many of these critical medicines. While some plant-based substitutes are now emerging for a few treatments, for cases like venom antidotes, no alternatives exist yet. Nature has created such a system in this world where truly being 100% vegetarian is nearly impossible, especially when it comes to modern medicine. Fact number 1. This is a very deep fact that most people haven't paid attention to. The human body is truly amazing, and you can understand this from one simple observation. Consider the electricity in your home. It has a voltage of 240 volts, right? Now, think about lightning in the sky. How much voltage does it have? The answer is 300 million volts. When we accidentally touch a live wire at home, the 240 volts can give us a nasty shock, leaving us shaken or even severely injured. But here's something incredible. There are some extremely unlucky people in this world who have been struck by lightning, meaning a direct hit from those 300 million volts while they were outside. And despite the enormous voltage, many of them survive. This shows how resilient the human body can be. You might have experienced the discomfort of a mild shock, but compare that to lightning, an insane jump in voltage and current. Yet in many cases, people walk away alive after being struck. When lightning hits, a person's hair might turn black or stand up due to the intense energy. But the fact that they survive such an immense force of nature is a miracle in itself. The human body's capacity to endure and recover is unbelievable. If you have any questions about the facts shared or want to know more, feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll make sure to address them in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you enjoyed the knowledge and found it valuable. Until then, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.
In 2013, a song was released called Pandemic, and its lyrics mentioned the 2020 coronavirus. It predicted bodies stacking everywhere due to the virus in 2020. How could a song predict such an event 7 years earlier? In this world, people dream of all sorts of things at night, but no one has ever dreamed of using a mobile phone in their dream. People dream of falling from buildings or flying, but operating a mobile phone, not a single person in the population has dreamt of that. What psychology lies behind this? And if your weight is, say, 50 kilograms, the pressure on your knees is actually 500 kilograms. Yes, your weight is multiplied by 10. How is this possible? Also, is love truly divine, or is it just a trick of the mind? You must hear the answer to this. Welcome to the show of the useless show, not as useless as you think. Let's begin. Fact number 10. If I ask you which side of the earth is the top and which is the bottom, you might say the map shows the reality, with Russia, America, and other countries on the top side, and countries like Australia and New Zealand on the bottom side. But the truth is, the earth doesn't have a universal top or bottom. That's why countries like New Zealand and Australia use an upside-down map. Yes, this is the upside-down world map, which is normal for them because they are in the southern hemisphere. In this map, India appears differently. This essentially means that most people live in the northern hemisphere, which is why the standard world map has become normal. But technically, if you flip the map, there's nothing wrong with it, because from space, the Earth has no up or down. For people in the southern hemisphere, this flipped map is normal. The main takeaway here is, there is no universal top or bottom of the Earth. Fact number 9. Dr. Creep is known for a special type of music, different from normal music. He creates songs with themes of dystopian futures, virus outbreaks, and worlds set 400 years ahead, filled with darkness and immorality. In 2013, Dr. Creep released a song called Pandemic. This song, released in 2013, had a line talking about the coronavirus that would emerge in 2020 and mentioned bodies stacking up, implying piles of dead bodies worldwide. How could a song released in 2013 include such lines predicting the coronavirus in 2020 and bodies stacking up everywhere? This seems impossible. However, during 2020, when people noticed this song, they started saying that Dr. Creep had some mystical power that allowed him to foresee this. This idea became quite intriguing to people. The truth, however, as Dr. Creep himself explained in an interview, is that it was merely a big coincidence. He said, "In my career, I create songs about apocalyptic events, and mentioning a virus is nothing unusual. It was just a huge coincidence." Also, the term coronavirus wasn't something people learned only in 2020. In fact, it wasn't a new term at all. The word coronavirus has existed since 1968. It refers to a category of viruses, not a specific name. So what people saw as a mysterious prediction was, in reality, just an incredible coincidence. Fact number 8. There's a lot of discussion on the internet about how no one has ever dreamed of using their mobile phone in a dream. People dream of falling from buildings, which is a crazy dream. But we never see ourselves using a mobile phone in a dream. What does psychology have to say about this? The biggest reason scientists provide is that humans have existed on Earth for about 300,000 years. But mobile phones, tablets, and TVs were invented just 1 or 2 centuries ago. This is practically nothing compared to 300,000 years of human existence. The human brain has developed over these 300,000 years, so these gadgets are relatively new to human experience. Think about it. Your ancestors, maybe 10,000 years ago, also dreamed just like you do. That's why normal things appear in dreams, like trees, houses, or even bullock carts, because people traveled in them in the past. Similarly, riding a bike might appear in dreams, because it has been around for some time. But sitting and using a mobile phone, that's a much newer activity. However, the most important point is that dreams are not random. They are actually a manifestation of your emotions. For example, if you're afraid of something in real life, like a snake, your dream might show you a snake biting you. Dreams reflect what is in your subconscious mind. Since mobile phones don't hold much emotional significance, they don't often appear in dreams. Fact number 7. Let me ask you a question about your weight. Suppose your weight is 50 kilograms. Now, if you're standing still in one place, it seems logical that the weight on your knees and feet would be 50 kilograms, right? When you stand still, your knees bear 50 kilograms of weight. But what if I ask you how much weight your knees bear when you walk? Common sense might suggest that if your weight is 50 kilograms, then while walking, the weight on your knees should still be 50 kilograms, since that's your body weight. But that's not the case. When you walk, you accelerate, decelerate, and move. While standing still, the weight on your knees is 50 kilograms. However, when you're walking and your foot hits the ground, a ground reaction force is created. This increases the weight your knees experience to 75 kilograms. And that's just walking. When you run fast, if your weight is 50 kilograms, multiply it by 4. Your knees experience 200 kilograms of weight. But that's still not the highest. When you jump and land back on the ground, your knees bear weight equal to 10 times your original weight. For example, if your weight is 50 kilograms, your knees experience 500 kilograms of load in that moment. So every time you jump and land, your knees experience a load that's 10 times your body weight. For people who are obese, weighing around 100 kilograms, a single jump makes their knees bear 1,000 kilograms of load. Now you can understand why older people often develop knee problems first. Touch your knees. They are an incredibly important part of your body. They bear the most weight, force, and strain. If your knees are pain-free, consider yourself lucky. Most young people don't have knee problems, but once they begin, life becomes incredibly difficult. Ask any elderly person about it, and they'll tell you how challenging it is. Fact number 7. One love is a very real and powerful feeling that all of us experience in this world. But the biggest question is love real, or is it just a game of chemicals? Scientists say that the chemicals released in the brain during love are the same as those released when consuming high-level drugs. Just like drugs make a person feel happy, increase energy, and suppress hunger and sleep. Love does the same thing. Science explains that when you fall in love, 3 major chemicals are released in your brain: dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. This means love is not some magical force connecting 2 people. Instead, it's just a play of chemicals. Love, according to science, is a kind of survival mechanism, a natural system embedded in our brains to ensure that we mate with someone and continue the human population on Earth. Love happens, and that's how new babies are born, ensuring humanity's survival. From a scientific perspective, love is simply a survival strategy that motivates us to approach the opposite gender. Imagine for a second that this feeling of love and attraction toward girls is completely removed from you. What would happen? You would have zero motivation. Literally, not even the slightest desire to approach anyone. That's why the brain has this neurochemical system to create love and attraction, for the benefit of humanity. If it didn't exist, the world wouldn't exist either. Science views love as a clever system of nature. There's nothing magical about it. No soulmate concept. But we don't just talk about science. We go beyond it and explore spirituality. So what does spirituality say about love? Spirituality says that love is a divine feeling that is universal. Spirituality also acknowledges the Big Bang. It suggests that the universe began from a single point smaller than an atom, which creates the vast universe we see today. That means, originally, we were all part of that same dot. Since we all started as one, it's believed that this oneness is why we feel attraction for everything, be it cars, a girl, or a beautiful mountain. For instance, when you see something beautiful, you feel a pull toward it. It's the same feeling of oneness we now experience as love. Even gravity works similarly. Every atom in this world attracts other atoms. If an asteroid is floating in space, it pulls other objects toward itself. There are no motors or machines making this happen. This attraction is an inherent feature of every atom. If I put you in space, you'd attract an asteroid toward you, and the asteroid would pull you toward it too. This is very similar to love. Just like gravity is a fundamental property of the universe, love is too. Spirituality teaches us that love is the basic nature of the universe. Science still hasn't fully understood the universe. It doesn't know where the Big Bang came from, or the true essence of love or quantum mechanics. So you could say that love is indeed a divine feeling. It's not just neurochemicals. There's a divine aspect to it. What do you think? Is love real? Give your thoughts about love in the comments. Fact number 6. Did you know that when Michael Jackson passed away, a court document revealed that he was $500 million in debt? This means he was in negative $500 million. Now you might wonder, how could such a famous person end up in this situation? Well, let me explain. This is not an isolated case. Many such situations have occurred in the past. The thing is, as much money as comes in, the lifestyle tends to get even more lavish. Michael Jackson owned a 2,700-acre estate, which was a massive piece of real estate, and it cost millions every month just to maintain it. His house had a private zoo, an amusement park within the vast boundaries, and many other extravagant features. On top of that, Michael Jackson had borrowed a lot of money from wealthy people, trusting that he would be able to pay it back. The people lending him money knew he was Michael Jackson, and believed he would eventually repay them. But what many people didn't know was that even when his popularity was at its peak, he quickly declined, and his sales dropped by half. You might know that the nature of the world is psychologically such that extraordinary craze doesn't last forever. The craze can exist, but it doesn't stay extraordinary forever. This was the situation with him. His sales dropped significantly over time, and his financial situation worsened. He never showed proper financial accountability. And when it was revealed that he was in $500 million in debt, the entire world was shocked. Fact number 5. Look, in every culture, butterflies are seen in a positive light. But do you know that if given the opportunity, butterflies can actually feed on human blood? Butterflies exhibit a behavior called mud puddling. Essentially, butterflies need moisture. Their attitude is such that they require moisture, meaning they need liquid. They don't care where the liquid or moisture comes from. They just need it. This is why butterflies are not as innocent as they seem. People often think of butterflies as pure, and songs like Butterfly, Butterfly are made for children, but they can actually be more like vampires. Fact number 4. Let me tell you something about ghosts and give you a scientific perspective on it. There's a huge theory in the paranormal world called the stone tape theory. This is an official term, and many books have been written on it. According to the stone tape theory, materials like wood, glass, and other substances can absorb and hold information. If any traumatic or intense vibes happen in a place, materials like wood, leather, or glass may store those vibes permanently. In the 19th century, many psychic researchers dedicated their lives to studying this theory. Some prominent researchers like Charles Babbage, Eleanor Sidgwick, and Eamon Gurney introduced this idea to the world. Now let's try to understand this theory. Just like when you speak, the words you say continue to exist after you've spoken them. The vibrations created in the air when you speak stay in the universe and never disappear. In a way, they continue to exist. According to the stone tape theory, the human brain can unconsciously or subconsciously read these vibes. This theory tries to scientifically explain ghosts. So if you see a ghost after midnight in a quiet place, it doesn't mean an actual ghost is there, but rather, it's a manifestation of the vibes or energy stored in that place. For example, if you visit an old mansion where many negative events like murders happened, the negative vibes and emotions that took place there may have been stored in materials like wood, glass, or stone. During the night, your brain is calmer and more sensitive, so you can pick up these subconscious vibes and they get manifested as ghosts, illusions, or even sounds that might seem like spirits. It's not an actual spirit, but your brain reacting to stored energy. This theory is called the stone tape theory, because materials like stone can store energy and vibrations for a long time. Unlike other materials, stone can retain this energy for thousands of years. So the term stone refers to the material, and tape means recording or storing. The bottom line is that our minds play a huge role when it comes to understanding the paranormal world. Fact number 3. The fact I'm about to tell you is something to really pay attention to. We all know that magnets have 2 poles, a north pole and a south pole. Now let me ask you this. Is there any magnet that only has a north pole and no south pole? This question might sound simple, but it's actually very deep. According to the laws of physics in this world, actually in the entire universe, there cannot be a magnet with just one pole. A north pole without a south pole simply doesn't exist. This is because the laws of nature state that every magnet must have both a north and south pole. But when scientists started studying quantum mechanics and delved deeper into the mysteries of our universe, they discovered something extraordinary, a particle called the magnetic monopole. This magnetic monopole is a theoretical particle that has only one magnetic pole, either a north or a south, without the other. It's a concept that could revolutionize our understanding of physics, but despite its theoretical existence, magnetic monopoles have never been observed directly in nature yet. However, their discovery would be groundbreaking, because it goes against everything we know about magnets so far. Fact number 2. The 2 largest planets in our solar system are Jupiter and Saturn. Saturn is especially famous for its stunning rings, which are massive. However, I shared an interesting fact earlier. NASA confirmed a planet named J1407b that has rings 200 times larger than Saturn's rings. Now imagine this. Saturn's rings are huge to us, but compared to J1407b, they seem tiny. The universe is so vast that even what we consider enormous might be just a speck in the grand scale of things. For example, Jupiter, which is already massive, is still minuscule compared to many other planets that exist in the universe. And guess what? Even the father of J1407b's rings might itself have a father somewhere out there, a planet far larger than anything we can imagine. The size of things in the universe has no limit. Just when we think we've discovered the most amazing thing, Something even more mind-blowing is waiting to be uncovered. Our universe is truly incredible. Fact number 1. You may already know that there are some diseases that everyone on Earth fears. For example, a cough or fever can be cured. But if someone contracts HIV, it is considered almost impossible to recover. There are certain situations in life where there's at least a 1% chance of survival. But with HIV, without treatment, death is almost certain, according to science. Here's an interesting fact. HIV can only be transmitted from a person who already has HIV. If the other person is healthy, they cannot get HIV. So this raises the question, how did HIV first originate in humans? You might not believe it, but HIV is believed to have first emerged due to animals. Specifically, it is thought to have originated in Africa, where humans first made contact with animals. In Africa, there is a species of monkey known as the sooty mangabe. The first HIV case might have happened when a human came into contact with the blood of one of these monkeys, possibly through a wound. This contact could have led to the virus being transmitted from the monkey to the human. From there, it is believed that the disease spread from humans to humans. So somewhere in Africa, there must have been the first person who unknowingly started the HIV epidemic. Now, I want to hear your thoughts. What's one question you've been wondering about? Comment it below and subscribe to stay part of the journey. Let's meet again in another video.